Hello everyone and welcome to this Total War Warhammer 2 live battlecast. In this game, guys, we're going to be playing the Skaven, and we are indeed facing off against the High Elves. So as far as our army composition goes, we do have a combination of clan rats in the front line, which are essentially just going to be, as their tooltip infers, our meat shield. They're going to be supported by Death Runners and Plague Monk Sensor Bears to give us some good armor-piercing damage. On top of that, the High Elves do bring some very heavily armored frontline troops, so we have the Plague Claw catapults, and these guys are excellent at taking out elite infantry. They don't work as well against like fodder-centric armies, but against like things like Swordmasters of Hoeth, the White Lines of Trace, and all that kind of good stuff, these guys really shine. On top of that, we do have the Poison Wing Globadiers for our anti-large and armor piercing, so against Dragon Princes, Dragons themselves, or Phoenixes. Hopefully these guys will do a pretty good job, and we do have Rat Ogres. So Rat Ogres are definitely pretty important in this matchup because, of course, when you bring Lord Skrulk more specifically, because he's very vulnerable. He has very low armor, very susceptible to getting bursted down, so we want to have the Rat Ogres who have big mass to protect him. Otherwise, like a Dragon could simply, push through halberds or spears and, continue to chase Lord Skrulk, but with Rat Ogres pitting an enemy unit, they shouldn't be able to exterminate him. So let's hope for the best for good old Lord Skrulk, but he does have Lord Plague, so we have the ability to summon some clan rats, some other good stuff going on, but definitely expecting some Phoenixes. The Phoenix bombs from the Flamespire Phoenix, I think is what it's called, are very good against the Ratmen because the bombs seem to do a little bit more damage against lightly armored targets. I was experimenting a little bit with it in a custom game, and I had some really good success with the bombs against like Spearmen, and I think they were Dread Spears or High Elf Spearmen who only have 40 armor, and it just wrecks them if you drop a couple bombs. So I foresee that being pretty good against the Ratmen because obviously Plague Monk Sensor Bears, an 1100 gold unit who only have like 20 armor, if even. So the bombs can be really effective against the rats, and also they cause fear and terror, the Flamespire Phoenixes, so I really got to watch out for those. And as I'm like narrating all this and kind of explaining it, I'm like, man, I should have brought some more slingers or things that could really punish the Phoenixes, but we're just going to have to make do. So for our front line, let's go ahead and toss these guys up here, and let's put the clan rats on the outside, just so if he has any like flanking, the clan rats can take the beating. Because these high DPS units, the Death Runners as well as the Plague Monk Sensor Bears, are both very squishy, like 20 armor here, 20 armor here, and they both have less than 30 melee defense, so man, they're going to get crumbled if I'm not careful. So let's go ahead and do this, and we'll get the catapults, and he's probably going to deploy over here. If he deploys in the forest, that's fine. Maybe we want to scoot a little bit back so we can get some more value out of our artillery. Lord Skrulk in the front line. We do have pretty good infantry. We also have some Storm Vermin who are going to be Skrulk's personal bodyguard. Anti-large, armor piercing, very, very durable rat unit by rat standards. You can see, I think they do they have a ward save of some sort? No, just charge defense. Cool. So on top of that, we do have our artillery pieces right here, the Globadiers. Well, not artillery, but I guess they kind of are. So we have the Globadiers right here. They're going to be set up in the pockets, ready to throw at large units. And we'll get these rats kind of chilling right here. So I kind of made a little bit of a mistake. I didn't bring enough spears. I should have just brought some Skaven slave spears. They cost like 125, and they probably would have been able to defend the back line, or at least ward off my opponent. Because people see spears, sometimes they don't read the tooltip, and they're like, oh, I'm not going to go back there. But in this case, they're pretty exposed, so I'll have to do a little bit of fancy footwork, and we can use the Rat Ogres at first. They can do the trick. So good luck to my opponent. Let's have some fun. We got the Plague Claw catapults online. We probably really should deploy further back, but he actually does have some Silver Helms over here, and in the forest he has Swordmasters of Hoeth and some Spearmen. And also he has a Lothern Sea Guard, which are going to be pretty good here. I like it. I like the build so far. So we're just going to kind of posture up here and wait. We'll get the Rat Ogres kind of hanging out, and we probably want to target the Swordmasters of Hoeth with one and the Sea Guard with the other one. Spearmen I'm not really concerned about. Like clan rats can honestly have a pretty good fight there, and we have the ability to summon did I forget the Libra Bubonicus? I did. It's a really good item, guys. You should definitely bring it. But I do have Plague, which can do some damage if he bunches up. And man, look at the damage on those Swordmasters of Hoeth. That's brutal. So we're getting some good DPS. He does have Tyrion with the sword, I think. So he can probably rat roast us a little bit if we're not careful. So we definitely have to watch out for that. He does have some Silver Helms on the sides, but honestly our Rat Ogres should be able to deal with those guys. Like Silver Helms don't really, have the best sustained combat stats, and the rats have really good armor piercing damage. So let's keep shooting at these Swordmasters of Hoeth, just hanging tight. I'm honestly tempted to go summon some like Vermintide over here, like in the front, so it'll just kind of like keep him over here for just a little bit longer, and then we can get more value out of our artillery. So the guys are coming out of the forest over here, the Cav. So let's get our Dragon Ogres on both sides. We can adjust our spears accordingly, and spears here, and we should be fine. So we're going to summon some rats right now and just kind of block them up and just allow us to get a little bit more artillery value. We haven't done as much damage as I would like, so I'm a little bit concerned here. So Lord Skrulk is going to get the Ratlings, and they're going to scurry forth, and yeah, looking good to me. So these are Silver Helms, and these guys over here are also Silver Helms. So let's see if we can discharge those guys and get a little bit, a little bit of a freebie. So we're going to scurry away from the archers right now. The Globadiers are a little bit out of range, but at this point, you basically, when you get in melee, you want to switch your artillery pieces onto the expensive ones in the back. So let's get these guys kind of charging in here, and these guys can go right here. And all right, so a little bit light, so we'll pull these troops over here, and the Rat Ogres are going to chase those guys down, it looks like. Good. Yeah, so far so good. The engagement's going well. So we do have Wither as well, so we're going to drop that in the front line, which is going to lower their armor. And the Globadiers can start throwing here. And do we have another Globadier available? We do. Okay, so these guys can also start throwing, like, just honestly at these Spearmen. Now, we want to be targeting the Swordmaster, so... All right, so the Rat Ogres have caught the Silver Helms on both sides, it looks like, but he did get around the back right here, which is a little bit concerning. So a little bit sloppy on my part not paying attention to that, but it's no problem. So let's summon some rats in the back line to go ahead and start pressuring from, different angles. We'll get these guys going here, these Rat Ogres going here, and then, yes, so our rats have actually broken through, which is great. We have some more Vermintide going on, and looks like Lord Scroll's in pretty good shape in the front, although he did collapse one of our flanks here, which is pretty unfortunate. I mean, Swordmasters of Hoth are definitely going to do that. So we do have this Plague ability, so maybe we cast that right here, but those are Spearmen. I should have paid closer attention. These guys can crossfire on the Swordmasters of Hoth. These ninjas over here can go ahead and engage right here, the ones we kept in auxiliary. And he did get onto our artillery almost, but it looks like we were able to get back there with our spears just in time. So let's keep shooting at these guys right here. We'll go ahead and collapse on these Swordmasters. And Lord Skrolka is getting hunted a little bit, so we probably need to scurry. And do we have anything we can scurry to? The Rat Ogres here are fighting the good fight, but yes, let's pull the Rat Ogres back. We got to protect Lord Skrolk. I mean, this is like the worst possible situation. Tyrion is like designed for these type of things. So we have the Rat Ogres coming. We're just going to run right past him. We can also summon some Vermintide in the front line, which is going to help out against those spears. And let's bring the Rat Ogres back. And all right, so things are getting a little bit wild here, a little bit hot and heavy. We have these guys as well. Let's get these Rat Ogres kind of charging on these Swordmasters right there. And Skaven battles are always just so wild. But Lord Skrolk, we need to get him back in the fight, kind of getting a little bit of work done, but we are kind of compromising his back line pretty efficiently. I did forget about some troops. Looks like our Storm Vermin did a good job, so let's pull those guys back. These guys are rallying, which is always a good sign, so maybe we can go after his mage back there and see if we can get some assassin work done. So we're very low on magic right now. You can see Tyrion is kind of trying to chase us down, and let's make sure these rats are assisting. And these Globadiers can also start chucking at Tyrion. That's probably fine. So we want to run up and through our spears right now. We have some summoned rats over here as well who can help out. And do we have any good targets for our artillery? We can target here and target here. Make sure we're pressuring adequately. And these are Plague Monk Sensor Bears. Yeah, we need those guys back. You can see, you guys see how Lord Skrolk is just scurrying violently around the battlefield. Let's get these Storm Vermin in there as well. So, very, very pitched fight. Definitely a good match so far. Very, very even fight. It looks like we are pulling ahead on the balance of power just a little bit, despite some sloppy play early on. But see the Globadiers just bombing those guys? That's incredible. So yeah, the Storm Vermin are coming, and they're not going to mess around. The Swordmasters of Hoth are very, very beat up here, and we can summon some more rats just to kind of seal the deal. I really wish I brought that Liber Bubonicus. But the Plague Monk Sensor Bears, how'd they do? Oh, 132 kills against High Elves. That's incredible. So they actually performed quite well, and I think they actually have a leadership penalty too. It looks like the Rat Ogres are holding it down in the front line, able to kind of get on Tyrion. And we were able to keep our artillery alive for so long that it was able to really punish his archers and different things like that. So very, very well played. So, Tyrion with the roast. Oh my goodness, that did so much damage. He came out of nowhere with a steel chair. So we're going to run over here with the rat. Let's get the Rat Ogres kind of collapsing here on Tyrion, and we'll just kind of do a little bit of a surround. And I don't think there's any high elf threats coming around. I think we're good. So I'm telling you, these Poison Wing Globadiers are just MVP units. They're so darn good. And Skaven Artillery has the same tool that the, the Godlobber for the Dawi does. So it actually hits leadership. Granted, high elves do have very good leadership, but it still does kind of make a difference in a close battle like that. So, but I think the Skaven are definitely going to have some good matchups. They're a little bit trickier. It's kind of like, for any of you guys that have ever played a mass goblin build with greenskins, it's kind of like micro-intensive in that same sense, that things route really quick, and you have to rally them back or else you're going to lose out on so much efficiency. I had a few mistakes early. I kind of sent these guys off in auxiliary, and I didn't re-engage them fast enough. But again, there was just so much going on, and I was trying to run from Tyrion and just deal with the Cav and all that kind of stuff. But the Rat Ogres, I mean, they honestly beat down Silver Helms, and Rat Ogres do lose one-on-one to Dragon Princes. But, I mean, it's really efficient for you. I mean, the amount of Dragon Princes you'll kill for an 800 gold Rat Ogre is cost-effective, to say the least. On top of that, Poison Wing Globadiers racked up some good kills, applied some good pressure. The Plague Claw Catapults, obviously, were able to deal with the archers and things like that. I do like his build. The one thing I might change is I would bring less spearmen, because the rats, I keep calling them the rats, but the Skaven, they don't, I guess they are rats technically, so it's fine. But the Skaven don't have a ton of large units. I don't think you're going to see too many Hell Pit Abominations against the High Elves, because High Elves, do have the threat of missiles that kind of keeps you honest, and Hell Pit Abominations have pretty low armor. And you don't really, I don't know, I feel like it would be a bit of a risky pick. So, again, I think you don't really need the Spearmen as much, and also the Swordmasters of Hoth. Most Skaven players are going to bring artillery. They're going to bring at least one catapult or maybe a Warp Lightning cannon, and really expensive infantry like this takes such a beating from artillery that it's pretty tough for sure. Granted, they performed extremely well, so I could be wrong on this, but I think you just bring like white lines of trace in the front line, cut the Spearmen, go a little bit wider so you have more like density to pressure them. and even cut the Cav and get Phoenixes. The Phoenix bombs are going to be so darn good against this Skaven. I'm actually excited for someone to use them against me. I haven't gotten the chance really to play too many Skaven players. Everyone's playing Lizardmen or actually High Elves and Dark Elves. Yeah, I just haven't seen too much Skaven play. So I knew it was very well played. And my opponent, Dwayner11, it was a pretty close match for sure. It was down to the wire. Look forward to running into you again on ladder, and hopefully you guys enjoyed that Lord Scroll game. Have an excellent night, guys, and take care.
Possess the right thinking. Only then can one receive the gifts of strength, knowledge, and peace.